Spooky Mom Show. I'm your host, the Spooky Mom, and tonight we're going to tell a very special story, and I'm joined by three of my favorite people in the entire world. Say hello, boys.
Hello.
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 I'm joined this evening by Bubba, as always, by Dracula, and the Buscetti Monster. Are you boys excited for this story tonight?
Yes. Indubitably.
Yes.
Okay. So this story comes from back home where I'm from, and I like to call this story the Wood Island Haunting. Now this story was told to me by some family members, and I actually did get to see the house, though I was never allowed inside the house or experience what was told to me. But it's a very interesting haunting. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Indubitably.
Okay. The Wood Island Haunting is down in Wood Islands, and it starts with a house, as most hauntings do. Now, this house is over 100 years old, I do believe, and it was purchased by these friends, and they started renovating the house. And as most hauntings go, when you start to renovate a very old home, things start to kick up around the house. Things that can't be explained and people don't talk about. So, as they're fixing this house, it's taking weeks and weeks and weeks. These friends, they would go into town and they would buy groceries, and when they came home, one day they found paint cans blocking the front door. They couldn't get in. They managed to push, and paint ended up all over the floor, which was weird how all these cans ended up there. So that was fine. They cleaned up the mess and they carried on about their day. A couple of days later, there was scaffolding in one of the big rooms that they were renovating, and they had tarps everywhere. Well, they came home one day and all the tarps were balled up in the middle of the floor for no reason. That's not how they had left them. So one night, as the friends were sleeping, one of them woke up in the middle of the night, and they got up to go to the bathroom. There's this room right before the bathroom. Now this room has been locked. They didn't have a key. They couldn't get in, and because it's an old antique door, they didn't want to risk breaking it down. So they had decided that later on, after all the renovations were done, they would replace the door and see what was in the room. Okay? Well, as this person came back from the bathroom, the door was open. Nobody had a key. That door, they couldn't get it open. But it was. As he passed the door, this guy, you need to understand, can't see very well without his glasses, but he swears up and down that when he passed that door, he saw the silhouette of a woman that was glowing. You know how sometimes when you two are in trouble and I curl my finger at you to come here? Well, this figure was doing that to him, beckoning him inside the room. Now, he thought he was still sleeping. So he rubbed his eyes and he pinched himself and he tried to wake up. And when he opened his eyes, that silhouette of that woman was still there, beckoning him inside the room. He freaked out a little bit, ran to his friend's room, opened up the door, and said, "You gotta come see this." By the time they got back to the room, the door was closed and locked and they couldn't get it open. So they stopped renovating this old house, and they called a priest to come and bless the house, and that seemed to make things worse. Now, unfortunately, that's the end of the story, because that's all I was ever told. But because it's an old house, they chose to stay there, and things eventually got worse for them. How the story ended, I don't know. Maybe they sold the house, maybe they still live there to this day. Who knows? But that's the story of the Wood Island Haunting. What do you guys think?
That was cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Same here.
Very good. Very good.
Do we have any thoughts as to why hauntings would take place when you start renovating an old home like that?
Because those spirits, and then you're awakening the spirits inside by like destroying the wants to be home.
You're messing with the spirit's property, and they don't like that.
What do you think, Dracula?
I do not know.
Well, Bubba and Buscetti Monster have it right. When you start to mess around with an old home and you disturb things, they're used to having it a certain way. And come hell or high water, they'll get their way. We all hope you enjoyed tonight's story. We all hope you enjoy the Spooky Mom Show. We'll try and upload as soon as we possibly can for our next series. As always, Spooky Mom loves you, everybody. Stay spooky.
If you don't subscribe, the Buscetti Monster will come for you.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Otherwise, Buscetti Monster will make an appearance. Have a good night, everybody.